Hi everybody and welcome to the Flute Practice. Today we are starting a kind of 2 video series that is making friends with your metronome. This guy is really important and I am not going to spend the whole video today telling you why it's so important. I'm hopefully going to show you a bit more of that in the next video. This video is really meant at you beginners or any of you that have struggled to practice with this guy because quite honestly you just don't know how. Sounds basic, but the problem is so often people kind of switch the metronome on, they're like, yeah, let's do this. And then they have no idea how to actually play along to the beat. So today I'm going to guide us through a process of learning how to play along to the beat. Okay, so before we begin, I am going to just spend a little moment kind of talking about what all those numbers mean on the metronome. Basically, the numbers tell you how many beats there are per minute. So, for example, 60 is going to be 60 beats in 1 minute. And if you do the math, you will realize that's like, a beat per second. It's basically ticking on the seconds. Okay, so what we're going to do to start off with is we are going to set our metronome on 60 beats per minute, just because it's a nice kind of regular beat. It's not too fast, not too slow. It's always, for me, a good starting point. We're going to switch it on. If you guys have like a cell phone metronome or any other kind of metronome, you can also click it into Google. You can put metronome, just type in metronome into Google, and then like the little search box comes up like right at the top and you just need to press play. So easy, and you can kind of drag the little cursor up and down, to change the speed. So none of you have an excuse not to play with this guy. Sorry. I'm going to start with a B, and I'm just going to try and play along nicely to the beat. And really what I'm wanting is that beat, that B to line up perfectly on the beat, just like that. Now, this is kind of on the one hand a practice, on the other hand a diagnostic. If you cannot do that, we're going to dial it back a step and we are going to go back to just without the flute, and you're just going to speak it. You're just going to say ta, 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 ta. If you're really struggling with that too, you might want to even just move your whole body. I know this sounds like super lame and corny, but just feeling that beat. Okay, so you speak and you can just say ta, 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 ta with your tongue, using the ta, so we're getting the tongue used to that rhythmic movement. And then you can try it back again onto your flute and just going back to your. And what will also maybe help you is to not breathe necessarily between each note. It could help you to breathe between each note as well, but try both. Try breathe between each note, try to not breathe between each note, and just see how it feels. Just listening. If you're not sure whether or not you're doing this correctly, you might want to record yourself. So put on a camera or even just a recording device and record yourself to see if you actually are sticking with the beat. If you are really still struggling with this, I'd recommend going to a teacher and getting some help. Okay, so once you're kind of getting comfortable with playing just single notes on that beat, we can now play different notes on the beat. So, just like that. So now we're just moving the fingers, adding kind of one more layer of difficulty here. Once you are good at that, you've got that one down, it's now time to play in different rhythms. So some beginner books have got pages of different rhythms that you can kind of go through. I know Tune a Day has this. I think there's a book called Elementary or something. Anyway, a lot of them have like pages of rhythms. I'm going to be creating a page of rhythms for you guys as well, so that you can actually go and look through and kind of practice through these different rhythms with this guy on. This page is going to be available to all of my patrons. So I'm going to be posting it on my Patreon page. You guys can go check out and go join that system. For as little as $1 a month, you can kind of get involved in that and get all the extra access to content and stuff. I'm also going to be selling this guy on my website, so you guys can go and get it from there. I will link you guys below. This for me is a great way to just kind of really start getting comfortable with different rhythms on and over this beat. I would start off simple. I would start off where we've done those nice quarter notes or crotchets. Depending where in the world you are. You can do some quavers. Let me switch this back on. So we could do just some quavers. feeling those two beats on each note. I mean, other way around. Feeling those two notes on each beat. Ta, 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 te, ta, te, ta, te. Just really kind of getting comfortable with that. Then you might want to practice your half notes or your minims. So 2 counts. Now, for those of you who maybe have been doing more advanced stuff, you might feel silly doing this. But I promise you, unless you are going to learn how to play with this guy effectively and properly, you are going to miss out on one of the greatest friends you will ever have. And hopefully in my next video, I will convince you thoroughly and completely of this. But this guy is your bestie, and you need to learn how to just love him a little bit more. So if this feels basic, take the time to really go through this process. Just a little in-between stop before we get to some more fun. So once you're kind of getting comfortable playing against a basic beat, you're getting comfortable moving to different notes, you're getting comfortable with different rhythms, we can now go and play some easy, and I really mean it, easy pieces with a metronome. This is not about like showing off your mad skills to your best friend. He's not listening. He doesn't care. He's just doing his own thing. But this is about just making sure we are able to stay consistently with that beat. So choose a nice easy piece. I'm going to just pop this guy on again. So for example, I'm just going to play Good Old Mary Had a Little Lamb. And it's slow. And it's like agonizingly slow, but I'm also using it as practice to make sure I can really feel that beat. And it's like almost you anticipate when that next beat is coming. You start to get a sense of anticipating when that next beat is coming. And this is really the skill you are building up. Learning how to start to sense different speeds of beat. So you're going to anticipate. Ah, there's the beat. So play that. Maybe you want to move to more difficult pieces. Maybe you want to move Hot Cross Bun's a nice one because there's some nice changes in rhythms there. Great. I was rushing a little bit and I was like, ooh, hold back, hold back. Once you're kind of getting used to playing pieces, maybe you're getting used to playing more difficult pieces, you can start to speed up your metronome as well. You could potentially start doing this whole process again on a faster speed. The faster the metronome gets, the more difficult I find it becomes to stick with the beat and play with the beat. It is very normal. So that's why we start slowly. So we got time to just feel those beats and then we start to speed it up. So once again, go and repeat this whole process, but on faster beats now. And see how fast you can get that you can still stick with that metronome, recording yourself all the while to make sure that you're actually doing that. If you have mastered all of this and you're getting very comfortable, there are 2 little things left that are almost already kind of material for my next video, and I will probably repeat them. But the one is learning how to play on the offbeat. It's tricky and actually needs to be practiced, and we don't practice it enough. Okay, so now the offbeat is basically ta, ta, ta. So literally, as the name suggests, it's off the beat. So in between the beats, you're basically going to put a note. And you might want to speak this first. Ta, 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 and then give it a go. I feel like I'm like a reggae band. Ta, ta, yeah, yeah. But a nice way to think about this is to think pa, ta, ta, ta. So that is on the beat. Ta, 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 ta. It's like you can't do this rhythm without feeling like instantly cooler. Okay. And then the next level of that is to start syncopation. So that's where we're not just playing a short note, but kind of holding the note over the beat. So it'll sound like this. Or even more legato. And you really want to feel those tan, 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 tan. So you're kind of feeling that in between beat within yourself, but obviously not actually playing it. And preferably not showing it too clearly, because you know, people are gonna know. And it'll also start to sound like you're getting seasick, which is never cool. Guys, those are just for extra fun. If you are not coping with the previous kind of steps, don't do that yet. We're going to be getting onto that in our next video as well, and, you know, kind of running through some more practical practice tips for this really cool little friend, our metronome. We're going to make best friends with this guy, so I hope you're ready. Until then, everybody, happy practicing, happy keeping time, and I'll see you next time. I think I'm speaking in time. I'm like, we're just going to play one note. It's great. So it's kind of like you're really speeding up and slowing down time with this guy. No, you're not. Beat is like, it's such a cool thing, actually. It's like the one moment in time that we get to experience, physically experience passing of time. Like, wrap your head around that. We're actually experiencing time in movement. I think that's amazing. Little funny anecdote for those of you who are feeling really bad about the fact that you know, are not so good at playing with this guy. I had a student who, I put the metronome on, he looked at me and he was like, ma'am, I've tried that and it doesn't work for me, so I'm good, thanks. And I was like, okay. Sorry, this is driving me so crazy.